What is going on, Jefferson Forest? I hope everyone is having a good day. Today, we are hosting our second episode of our newest segment, Level the Playing Field. Burke, our school brings out the best in our athletes, don't you think?
I would totally agree with you.
JF produces many hardworking athletes, and there are many that are state champs. And there are even some that run in the national level. Today, we bring you an inspiration for me, and I know it's an inspiration for a lot of people, the state champ and national runner, Addison Hilton. Ooh. All right, Addison, tell us a little about yourself.
How's it going? So like you said, I run track. I'm a senior. I've been running track since, I think it was freshman year I started doing indoor. And then I was planning on playing soccer freshman year in the spring and not doing outdoor track. But then that's what I did. And I decided I didn't want to do that.
Things changed.
Didn't want to do that sophomore year. So I was planning on doing outdoor track, but as everybody knows, that's when COVID happened.
Yeah.
So we didn't get our spring sports. And then come junior year, they still didn't let us do sports in the winter, so I didn't get to do indoor track. But I kind of did my own thing, training on my own. I ran at some unattached meets in Virginia Beach.
Yep.
Went to Adidas Nationals there out in Virginia Beach. I got top 8 in both my events, so technically,
Look at this guy.
Technically I'm an All-American in that sense. But and then junior year was my first year outdoor, and I broke the school record in the 400.
That's insane to me.
And then I also won states in that event. So that's that. Now I'm a senior. Ran indoor, broke a few school records there, got the 300 indoor title at states, and I'm hoping to continue the trend this outdoor, get some school records, get some state titles.
So you and the 4x4 team, which is Collin Mays, I'm plugging names right here, Collin Mays, Brian Aveson, and Landon Epperson, and of course, you guys went to New York for the New Balance Nationals. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience, for people that haven't even experienced that in their sport?
So it's totally crazy. So there's the qualifying standard you have to hit, which is super competitive. They have to make it competitive for the whole country, not just for Virginia.
Yeah.
So it's a super low time that you have to get. You have to have, for a relay, 4 really elite runners to hit that time. And then, of course, the venue that they chose, it's called the Armory up in New York City. It's in Manhattan. They've hosted USA Track and Field World Championships there.
That is crazy.
It's just a super historic place with respect to track.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to be there. We felt so out of place going in there. We weren't expecting to perform as well as we did. We got the indoor school record up there.
That's crazy.
We had some great competition. We really just went up there to have a good time, just to get the experience of that level of competition.
And was Joe supposed to run in that race?
Yeah, so he was supposed to run in that because the time that we used to qualify, he was the 4th person.
Yes. Okay.
But then he unfortunately got hurt at the state meet.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. We had to substitute Brian in, who he really showed up. He did a great job.
Especially I've seen his performance this year in outdoor, and it's been amazing.
Yeah,
it's been amazing. All right. So I know, but the people don't. You're going to college at Auburn University for aviation.
Yes.
Why did you choose aviation over track? Because obviously you could have made it to a D1 school for track.
Yeah, so it was – I wouldn't say it was a hard decision, but like you said, I probably could have run somewhere in college for track. But ever since I got into flying and aviation and stuff, the more I looked into it, the more I looked into like a career path in the college side of things. And the more you see how much time it takes up.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, if you're going to run or really play any sport at the D1 level, that really is your main focus in college,
Yeah.
aside from school. Maybe even more so since you spend a lot of time doing that.
Yeah.
And with the aviation major, it's more hands-on than I'd say most majors
Mhm.
are. So
Okay.
you're really out in the plane, flying, doing stuff, getting hours. That's a big thing. You have to build a bunch of hours so that once you graduate, you can go right into the workforce. And with running D1 track and then doing the aviation major, I don't think I'd have enough
Yeah.
time to like live or experience college.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. And is your plan to go on like be a commercial pilot? Like,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's my plan. Ideally, I'd like to fly for FedEx or any other cargo airline.
That's cool. Yeah.
But of course, any opportunity that I get in like a major airline,
Mhm.
I'd take,
Right.
just because it's so demanding right now. And
Oh yeah.
I'm sure some people have heard about it, but a bunch of airlines are looking for pilots. There's a huge pilot shortage. A bunch of people are going to be retiring in the next 10 years. So it's a really good time to get
Yeah.
into it.
So people out there that are thinking of going into aviation, now's the time.
Do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're young, freshman, sophomore, trying to figure out what you want to do, definitely consider it.
Yeah.
It's super thrilling.
Yeah. It
super
seems super
rewarding.
fun.
Do you already have
Good.
a pilot's license?
Yeah, I recently got mine in December.
Oh.
I was training. I took flight lessons for about 6 months, and then in December I had my test to see if I could pass,
I
and I
remember
passed in
that.
December.
And he flew to, when I went down to Myrtle for spring break, he flew down there. I
Yeah.
literally watched the plane like as he was like driving it over. It was funny. I was
How-
like, that's Addison right there.
How much does that cost to rent, like per hour?
A plane.
Yeah.
I think at the place where I did it, it was like might have been like $175 an hour for
Oh,
the
wow.
plane. Yeah, it's totally
But-
absurd.
You have a plane, right?
Yep, my dad bought a plane and we use it.
The red. Yeah, it's so cool.
Yep, super nice, super grateful for all those opportunities that
Yes.
he provides.
So back on the track. Yeah, I know you glanced over it a little, but how many like school records have you broken at JF, and how does it feel like to hold that time like under your name?
Yeah, so currently I have 6 school records. And, to be honest, it's not really a good thing to say, but it kind of hasn't hit me yet that I have all those school records, probably
Right.
because I'm still running.
Yeah.
I'm sure once my time in track is over and I look back and I see my name beside all those events, it'll hit me. But right now it hasn't hit me. I have 6. I'm hoping to get maybe one more. I was hoping for 2 more, but
One more and
one didn't work out.
and what event?
200. Looking
200,
for that one.
like-
If I get that one, then I'll have the 200, 300, and 400.
Are you trying to get that at like states or
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Um,
Because tomorrow, for the people that don't know, tomorrow's districts for track.
yeah. So, of course, it could happen tomorrow, but I think at a district meet, the adrenaline and the
Yes, exactly.
the
It's not going to be as high as a state meet. Yeah.
the competition really isn't there.
What is the 200 record?
Right now, it's 21.79.
Held by.
Patrick McRae.
And
He got that a couple years
I mean,
ago.
your
Yeah.
time is insanely close to that, right?
Yeah, my PR is .21 off of it.
Holy cow.
So
That's crazy.
it's really close. But in that race, .21 is kind of a lot.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is. So just to go back a little bit, you said that you ran indoor track and then you were going to do soccer. What made you want to do track? Like, what made you want to run?
So back in like 7th or 8th grade, I played travel soccer in Roanoke, and everybody was always commenting on how fast I was on the soccer field, and they were all like, "Hey, you should try track." So I was like, "Hey, why not? I don't do anything in the winter."
Right.
So I gave that a shot, and then it wasn't really until like the very, very end of freshman year that
Mhm.
I kind of started to grow as a track runner.
That's so crazy to me.
And it wasn't enough where I was like, this is something that I want to do instead of soccer.
Yeah.
You know, because I'd been playing soccer since kindergarten up until that point. So I was like, I don't really know if I want to make that switch to something that I've really only done for like a couple months. And then sophomore year came around, and we qualified for nationals in the 4x2 indoor.
Who did you run that with?
That was with Patrick, Danteus, and Devin.
Okay.
Wow.
So we qualified for that. And then really all up until, I wouldn't say up until that, but pretty close in the timeline around that is when I started to show potential as like a good runner for JF.
And you, along with like Landon Epperson, he also played soccer and chose that decision too.
Yeah, he made that decision. I think Joseph was playing soccer around then.
That's cool.
They all made the switch over to track.
What are some things that keep you motivated, and like, what are some things that make your sport fun, if you will? Because some people, when they get in, they start out with having fun with it and they're motivated, but of course, like, it almost comes like a chore. So like, what keeps you involved?
Yeah, so at times you still kind of feel like it's a chore and it's hard, but then there are those moments with the team, like on a relay. If you're part of a relay, that's always fun. And then, of course, just like fun days at practice, that's always something to look forward to. If you know you're just going to have like a fun day, not a super hard workout. Of course, in the long run, you'll look back and you'll appreciate those hard workouts.
Yeah.
But just in track, it's really an individual sport. So any time that you get to spend with the team, whether it's on a relay, whether it's during practice, or even outside of track, with your teammates, that's really the fun thing for me about track. And what keeps me motivated is probably just with the hard work that you put in, like what you can achieve.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Because in track, it's super clear and obvious how good a person is, because it's all just numbers. It's just based on the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you put in the work, then
it'll show.
Yeah, you'll get those results, and it's super motivating to have something to work towards.
Yes, and I agree with that. I mean, as a track runner, I feel like, I mean, my times aren't that good, but they have gotten better.
Right.
And I mean, especially like with stuff that's going out, like on outside of school and outside of track, that helps motivate you. Like, just is really awesome to me, and I think that's what keeps me motivated in the sport.
Yeah.
So how many state champs have you won?
I have three now.
And what are they?
I have the 400 outdoor. That was during my junior year. The 300 indoor, which was just this past indoor during my senior year.
I remember that, yeah.
And then sophomore year, we got the 4x2 indoors.
Are you looking for any last takers this season?
Yeah, right now, if you just look at the standings, I'm slated to get one in the 400.
Okay.
But our relay, we have a really talented group that
Definitely.
we haven't really been pushed along at all this season in that relay, and we're pretty close to the top time right now. I think at states it'll be a really good race in the relay.
Well, I mean, here in the district, there's no one that is even close. I mean,
yeah,
it's a blowout every game or every meet. Is there like a person or someone that inspires you, like someone that you look up to?
Yeah,
this could be like someone that plays a sport or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely Patrick McRae.
Okay.
He was the one guy that he was there to push me along and really show me how to unlock my potential as a runner. He was the fastest guy on the team while he was there, and so being able to run with him was a super unique experience, to have somebody to pull you along, and really just be a mentor for you.
Yeah.
Right.
To be that person you can go to and ask questions, and then, of course, the opportunity to run on a relay with him was that was just
Yeah.
great as well.
Right.
And you've definitely, I've seen you take inspiration from that, because in my position, I mean, especially in indoor, like, I wasn't going through a good time, I'd say, but like, I was using track to motivate me to like be a better person.
Right.
But I would go to those meets, and like there'd be a JV meet, and Addison would be there, and 15 minutes before I ran a 500, he'd have a pep talk with me and be like, was it the 3 or 4 Ps?
Yeah, it was 4 Ps.
The 4 Ps in the 500, and he'd get me zoned in and focused. And then like when I'd be running the 500, I just remember vividly hearing Addison be like, go, 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 use the 4 Ps, use the 4 Ps. I was like, I mean, like, it is cool to see how that has shown off on you this season. And I think you've been a very good mentor and inspiration to a lot of people on track.
Thank you, Sam.
Of course.
Of course. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of track is mental, and a lot of it is strategy. When, like, you look at a track meet, you think, oh, they're just running in circles all the time.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is strategy. Like, when do you make a move? When do you push? When do you relax? All this kind of this kind of stuff. And I think having somebody to look up to that has been in your position before, that knows what to do, is super helpful. And
yeah.
That's what Patrick was for me.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of mental, I just like recently went through like a mental block with the 400.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I tried to blame it on me having shin splints, but in reality that wasn't the case. It was just I'm really not enjoying the sport as much as I was.
Right.
And I really wasn't getting the times I wanted. And I was 2 seconds off my PR from last year. And I mean, it was just very mental. And then last meet, I mean, Morano and Ebony both talked to me, and they were like, you need to enjoy this, and you just need to have fun and like remember why you started. And I mean, I did good.
Yep. You had a really good race.
So before we end off with our final question, Burke, do you want to ask Addison anything, or?
No, I'm all good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. So our last and final question, usually what we end all of these podcasts with. From your experience in life, this doesn't have to just be involved with track, what is something that you can give the students listening, some advice, a takeaway for the students listening to this podcast?
Yeah, so I've kind of been thinking about it recently. And I think for a lot of things, whether it's sports or school or just anything you're involved in, you have to find like the reason that you're doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of times people just go through school and they'll just think to themselves like, why am I doing this? This is all so pointless. Like I've been there. I've always thought high school is kind of hit or miss sometimes with the classes you have to take, with the atmosphere, all that kind of stuff. But sometimes you have to look long term, and you have to figure out why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes with sports. Like, what do you want to be remembered for in your sport? I know for track it's easy to just like hit a time and then you have a school record and then you're remembered for it. But sometimes it's more than that. Like being a leader for other people, helping the new runners grow into becoming like the future of whatever sport it is. So like whatever you're in, you just have to really think about why you're doing it, find the reason for it, and then really just enjoy it for that reason.
Yeah.
Because your reason should be something that you look forward to in the future. For school, whether it's a career you want to have, some academic achievement you want, anything.
Right.
It could be something small. You just have to find the reason for why you're doing it, and then enjoy the process.
Yes, I definitely agree. All right. Thank you so much, Addison, for coming out. I know your day doesn't, usually do CVCC, so you're not even really at JF during the day. But thank you so much for coming out during this time. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we hope you guys have a good rest of your day. We will be back soon, very soon, with another podcast. But then we're probably going to wrap it up here in the next week or so for the summer, and we'll start back up next year.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.